Thank you.
Turns out I was the chair. But you know, when Mark asks you to do something, it's hard to say no. I want to start off first by just congratulating the honorees, Simon Doonan, Trip Gulick, Michelle Kazashkian, and David Hyde Pierce. And this is, I've been working in AIDS since 1986. And this is possibly my favorite event, because I think it honors people who move research forward. And even though we've made science has made extraordinary successes in HIV science, I don't think anyone who knows this epidemic would say that we're where we need to be. And that really goes to the work that TAG is doing. I started out as a lawyer, a volunteer lawyer for GMAC, and then worked with ACT UP, and then was an early member of TAG. So I saw how important it was to have people who know the science and who know how to push the people in the drug companies, the people in the positions in government, in the international agencies, not only by hardcore advocacy, but knowing the science and knowing the issues. So it's a real treat for me to be here, and I think we all know that these are not easy times we are going through, and I know it's not easy for some people to support TAG and support this event. So I personally am very grateful. If you're looking for a way to impact what is the worst pandemic in the history of humankind now, I would ask you to dig deep down if you can, because you want people on the front lines pushing the people who need to be pushed and pushing the science, because only with a cure for HIV and a vaccine will we really be able to rest. So with that, I will introduce the host of the evening tonight, Jenna Wolfe from NBC's Today Show, and I'd like to thank everyone who really made this event possible. And I'd particularly like to thank one person, Whitney Sobel, who in many ways from Global Health Strategy is the co-chair of this event. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to play a part in this. Thank you.
Reading out this font is like -4. Oh, you had some. Can I tell you how unlike a Today Show gathering this is? There is so much brain power in this room. No, I'm completely insignificant, and I feel stupid for so many reasons. But like that guy, like raised $1 million for this charity. That guy cured cancer. I interviewed a dog who gave birth to 20 puppies this morning. On the back so hard it left a mark. It was my great. I was like, yeah, I did something for today, and then I came here, and so it's an absolute honor and a privilege to be a part of this. This is my first year because of a wonderful guy by the name of Kevin Getz, who's on the board here. Kevin was the guy that was sleeping next to me on a plane from New York to LA and woke up 30 seconds before the plane landed and went, oh. Hey, can you help me out? I'm having an event. It's in December. You're at the Today Show, right? What am I going to say? I was like, fine, Kevin. So, but this is great, and I've only been here for about a half hour, and I'm a half hour smarter than I was a half hour ago. So, thank everybody. Thank you guys so much for letting me be part of it. Hopefully, a number of years to come. Now I'm going to read what they wrote for me, which is probably better than the dumb jokes I've just been telling you. But I'm very humbled to be here, and I'm proud to be among so many wonderful, smart, dedicated, and focused people, more so than my dog story this morning. I want to start off by introducing Regan Hoffman, the editor-in-chief of Pause Magazine and Pause.com, who will be presenting this year's Research and Action Award to Simon Doonan. Okay, this isn't a wall.
me here tonight. It's a real honor to be here with you all. I am introducing a man who I really adore and love. Simon Doonan, you may know, is the fabulous creative director of Barney's New York. He's also the best-selling author of Wacky Chicks, Beautiful People, Confessions of a Window Dresser, Tales from a Life in Fashion, and a book currently on my nightstand, Eccentric Glamour, Creating an Insanely More Fabulous You. Obviously I haven't finished reading it, but I'm working on it. Simon also writes the Simon Says column for the New York Observer, and he's a frequent contributor to VH1, to the Trio Network, and to Full Frontal Fashion. Simon's memoir, Beautiful People, which chronicles the impact of AIDS in LA in the early 1980s, has been recently adapted for TV, and it's on the BBC, BBC 2 in the UK, and here in the US on the Here Network. And it's a very gay, positive, wonderful show. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. Simon has donated supplies from his bag of tricks, which he uses to create the incredible windows in Barney's to act up for their demonstrations. He told me tonight that he actually took old Barney's posters and affixed the early Act Up, Silence Equals Death posters to both sides and put them up so that they could be used as placards. And he is glad that he is not infertile from having used too much spray mount. He has also donated proceeds from his book, Confessions of a Window Dresser, to God's Love We Deliver, a New York-based organization that feeds people who are homebound with illnesses, including HIV/AIDS. He's hosted, he's sponsored, and he has donated to countless AIDS service organizations and to activist organizations. He's a husband to the incredibly sweet and talented designer Jonathan Adler, who I am lucky enough to call my co-chair at the God's Love We Deliver Leadership Council. And he's a dad to an orator named Liberace. But most of all, Simon to me is my guilty pleasure, and he is a quiver in my arrow of survival. Each week when I step off of the elevator at the Pause offices and see the pinkish newsprint of the Observer lying on the floor, my heart swells, and the tension that comes with being a woman living with HIV and thinking about it and writing about it all day, every day, begins to dissipate. Because I know that Simon in his column is going to make me laugh. And often I have to close the door of my office so that my staff already thinks I'm nuts, doesn't hear me laughing to myself and think I'm more nuts. While being funny, Simon is also an astute chronicler of society and style, commenting on things like porno chic, for example, of which he said, imagine if you said to people 20 years ago that a significant number of women would be going around dressing like porno stars with fake hooters and butt cracks showing. No one would have believed you. And he had predicted that. In Eccentric Glamour, he offers advice on things like snakeskin culottes, hetero sissies, and how to bring back joie de vivre, which his recommendation is to squeeze lemon on the cat and yell, Cerebus! I did that. Fighting the virus in one's own body, and as so many of you here know, in the world at large, is no easy task. It's an arduous one that's gone on for decades. There's nothing funny about HIV/AIDS, as you know. But humor, particularly Simon's brand, is a powerful ingredient in my treatment regimen, a regimen which, by the way, many of you here were responsible for bringing to fruition and reality and for saving my life, and for that I just want to thank TAG. Humor is also a very powerful painkiller. I arrived home late one night several weeks ago after spending the day reading about HIV-positive people in prison, distraught at the notion that more and more people are becoming imprisoned for non-disclosure of HIV, and distraught at the care that they don't receive in prison. I collapsed on my couch and turned on America's Next Top Model. And there, teaching nubile women about the glamour of eras gone past, was Simon with his irreverence turned high and Twiggy by his side. I laughed so hard that I cried, and was grateful that I could disguise the tears that I often feel like shedding over HIV/AIDS, behind the tears of laughter and joy caused by Simon. He called me the other day to talk about his first writing assignment for Pause, which I'm thrilled that he's doing for us. And I won't tell you what it's about, but suffice it to say that it's for the prevention issue. We talked about the phenomena of young people having only oral and anal sex to avoid losing their virginity, so that they can stay true to the letter of the law of abstinence. And I thought about how my life has evolved from a woman who could barely talk about HIV or negotiate condom use to a woman who could talk openly with a gay man about anal sex, and I was very happy for the journey that AIDS has taken me on. We laughed, and then he thought for a moment, and talked about some of the people that he'd lost to AIDS and became silent. And we both stayed silent on the phone for a few minutes. And then just when I thought I was going to cry, he launched right back into his hilarity, comparing himself to Lady Macbeth and talking about how prudish and germophobic he is, fortifying me for another day in the battle against AIDS. In this petite man lies a gigantic heart and boundless compassion for people fighting for their lives against HIV. So I am very, very proud, and I am very, very honored, Simon, to present this year's Research and Action Award to you.
So, it's nothing short of a miracle that I'm not HIV positive. You know, I'm that age. I was sexually active in my 20s when the AIDS epidemic hit. There's absolutely no reason why I did not get infected with HIV. 3 of my boyfriends died of it, etc., etc. I'm that generation. And as Regan mentioned, it probably is to do with my incredible prissiness, which has been a dominant. I was an obsessive hand washer as a child. I was like Lady Macbeth. So anal sex was never easy for me. And like Regan, I'm also very comfortable talking about these things publicly. But so Lady Macbeth here, for whatever reason, did not become HIV positive, but I went through the AIDS Holocaust, the early years, losing friends, like to lose all, you know, 80% of one's friends when you're still in your 20s, extremely traumatizing. And then, but when I look back at the AIDS epidemic and, you know, I just remember the incredible courage displayed by people and the bravery and the nobility of people who rose to incredible heights of bravery. And I want to dedicate my award to a very special group of people. And they're all the long-term survivors of HIV who are my friends, and you know who you are. You're special people, and there are a lot of you. And every day you get up and you fight the fight, and you overcome horrible, difficult things, and you are a complete inspiration to me. And my award is dedicated to my long-term HIV pals who are magnificent.